Hi there, my name is John Paul Thomas, and today we're going to talk about Excel. Some of the new things I've learned this semester that I've found pretty helpful, and then some of the uses that I've used Excel for in the past, and then some of the things I do here at Ball State. So this semester we had, I think it was Zimmer Biomet come in, and they presented about a couple big formulas that we use in Excel, VLOOKUP and pivot tables. So I thought that was very helpful. VLOOKUP, definitely when you're dealing with a giant data set, is going to be helpful in pulling out data you need and then finding um, other sources of information in your table. And then pivot tables too, really just, allows you to customize whatever data set you have in your Excel file there in your worksheets, and that can be used in a number of different ways, which is super helpful. So I'm really glad we got to cover those in class. And Zimmer Biomet actually came to my Finance 301 class as well, so I really got an in-depth discussion of all that they had to say. So that was very helpful. But a couple of things that I've got to use Excel with here on campus. The first thing I guess is with the Runners Club. I was secretary here my freshman and sophomore year in the Ball State Runners Club. And one of the things we do is during the spring semester, we keep track of attendance for practices. And if our members go to over 2/3 of the practices, then they receive a special prize. And this is kind of just an incentive to get people to come in the winter months when it's snowing and just a perfect muncie winter. And so I was in charge of keeping track of attendance, and so I created an Excel doc that would count the possible days left in the semester and then subtract how many possible practices there were, and it would let people know how many days they had left, how many practices they had, if they could come or not, and then a few fun things I'd add on were some like conditional formatting. If someone had met the requirement for 2/3 practices already, their name would turn green, stuff like that. So playing with those if functions and playing with conditional formatting was pretty neat in that case. And then using those date functions too. So that was one thing I kind of enjoyed doing a little bit. And then another thing too in my not necessarily school but with personal life, I created I could say a budget or a financial Excel doc, I guess you could say, that keeps track of like my purchases. So anytime I purchase something, I like will log down the numbers in Excel doc, and I've got like 8 categories across the top. Rent, utilities, food, entertainment, school, stuff like this. There might be a few other ones. Amazon, I think, is one of my own categories because I unfortunately spend too much on Amazon. But nonetheless, so each time I make a purchase, I enter it in on the spreadsheet, and then over the rows, it'll sum that day's spending if there are multiple categories in one day, and then it'll subtract that from my total of my the total cash that I had to start out with. So I combine usually my bank accounts and then any cash I have on hand. So it's an actual total amount there. But it'll sum and average my daily spending. So at the bottom of my Excel doc, it'll tell me how much I am spending per day on average, and then what categories is like the most percentage of what I'm spending money at. And so it really does a good job of helping me realize where a lot of my outflows are going. And then also with my inflows from my job, it'll tell me if I'm spending over what I'm actually making. And so using some of those functions in there too, those if functions to see if I've come out positive or negative, and then also that conditional formatting too is really cool. So, and then just having all those worksheets together and then kind of tying them into the previous month. So once one month's over, I'll not drag, but I'll tie the ending ending balance from last month to the cell that's the beginning balance of the next month, and then just start over the same way. So using that, I might go through and actually use some of our new Excel functions that we learned here in this semester, especially those if functions are super nice. And then not necessarily VLOOKUP maybe, but there's just so much you can do with Excel and all those functions. You can, customize them any way you want to. So just a really great tool that I'm really glad we've gotten to go into a lot more depth in. and it's something definitely I'll be using in my internship here in the spring, and something I'll be using in my career. Um, so not something that's going away. So that's just a little bit of what I've been doing with Excel, and see where it goes from there. Thank you.